Good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Severson. I'm the Waukesha County Sheriff. My name is spelled Severson. This morning at 7:44, our dispatch center received a call of an industrial accident. Within 2 minutes, we had squads on the scene, and we started assessing the fact that we had a pretty large fire that was involved here. Law enforcement began a local evacuation, including Eagle Elementary School. And as of this time, all of the students have been safely relocated. We used Palmyra High School as a relocation point. The community is not in any danger right now. I want to just thank all the fire services, all the community, and all the employees of the affected business for minimizing the risk of individuals on this call. At this time, I'd like to turn everything over to Assistant Chief Herder, who will talk a little bit more about the fire and the emergency response there. Chief.
Thanks, Sheriff. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Matt Herder, Haerter. This is Chuck Roberts. We're both from the Southeastern Wisconsin Incident Management Team, as well as the Western Lake Fire District for myself. The Eagle area and Kettle Moraine Fire Protection District received a call for a possible explosion this morning, or an industrial accident at 7:44. That incident was located at Somerset Marine, which is W357 S8715 Chapman Lane. It's a business that manufactures piers for the purpose of placing in lakes and utilizing with boats, particularly in the aluminum realm. On arrival, as the sheriff said, Eagle was here within 2 minutes with their police department. The fire department was here just under a minute after that, with their fire chief arriving, who is the current incident commander. His name is Scott, S-C-O-T-T, Kugel, K-U-G-E-L. On arrival, the chief ascertained that they did have active fire within the building. They did have reports of injuries, and he ordered all of the occupants out as soon as they could exit, which they were already underway doing. As the sheriff said, the Eagle Police Department, as well as the Waukesha Sheriff's Department, assisted in that evacuation, and that also went on to cover the local elementary school, as well as this entire industrial park. There still is a wish for all of the area community that are within a 1 mile radius of this incident to please shelter in place, as far as be in your home, have your windows shut, and do not have your air conditioning running so that it's bringing in outside air. There is no danger to the community. There is no hazardous materials here. It's just that it's a smoke issue, so no one has to worry about that. If you have been in the area and have received that on your cell phone, that means that you are under that, and if you have not received it, then you're not. But if you're about a mile away, that's something that's important. This has been a defensive fire, the entire fire attack, which means that the firefighters were never able to go inside of the building. There was significant structural collapse prior to firefighter arrival due to what occurred inside. What did occur inside is still under investigation, but we do know that the metal frame building was affected greatly regarding its integrity, and firefighters were not able to go in. This is an area without water as far as fire hydrants, so all of the water is being moved by water tenders, which you see going past us right now. This incident has gone to the 5th alarm for the MABUS system, which is mutual aid box alarm system. We have units that are coming from as far away as Kenosha County and as north as Milwaukee and up into Washington. That is, again, primarily not due to the firefight itself, but because of the massive amount of water that is having to be used to extinguish it. We have at this time 6 injuries. We have 3 civilian injuries. 1 is considered serious that was transported to a local hospital, 2 that were treated on scene. We have 3 firefighter injuries, 1 that was transported to a local hospital in good condition, and 2 that are treated on scene. Many difficulties were encountered with this incident that encompass primarily a fuel farm that was within the facility, comprised of diesel and also liquid petroleum. We did have multiple explosions during the firefight, and that is something that we're still working with now. So if you do see anything like that, it's expected, but it's certainly nothing that we would wish you to get any closer to than you are right at this time. We're getting water from 3 separate locations, be it the Eagle Municipal System as well as 2 area lakes. The evacuation is continuing, and the cause right now is remaining under investigation until we have more information on that. Does anyone have any questions regarding the fire side of it before we turn it over to the property owner?
Well, the fire itself, did that result in an explosion at that moment, or was the fire something that initiated an explosion afterwards?
We believe that both of those are actually true. So there was an explosion very quickly after the initial call of fire, and those subsequent explosions continued for approximately 30 minutes after the firefighter and law enforcement arrival.
You guys are still bringing water in from all over the place. How long do you anticipate this to go on?
So right now we're anticipating that this will likely be at least another 8 hours as far as the water that's being brought in. It's a metal building that, because of the integrity that has been lost regarding the structure, excavators have arrived on location, and we're going to start using those to be able to get into the structure and deliver water more effectively to where the fire is still burning. There have been reports that the fire is out. That is not true. We're unable to get to the fire because of the collapse within the structure.
And Assistant Chief, where in the structure have you been able to pinpoint to this time in terms of the likely origin of the fire?
That we just don't know right now. There was a fire throughout the building very quickly.
The extent of the injuries and how many people right now are in the hospital?
We have 2 people in the hospital. One is serious.
And the others? The extent?
The other 4 were remaining on scene. The other one was minor that was transported. Firefighter issues have been primarily heat exhaustion. The injuries sustained by the workers here were primarily due to the fire.
And where were they injured? In the building and on their body?
As far as in the building, on the body, that wouldn't be something that we'd talk about.
Talk about just the difficulty with, as you were mentioning, not having fire hydrants out here, and just the massive response that we've seen all morning.
So this is an area that is certainly very used to having issues with water, just because of not having fire hydrants. And when it's often said that 20 or 30 or 40 fire departments responded to a fire, oftentimes it's hard for people to understand why so many agencies had to come, and only one water tender will come from each fire department. So it's a tremendous drain on area resources as well if we would have another issue that would happen in the nearby county area, for them to be able to adequately extinguish their problem. So that's why the burden is spread out amongst multiple agencies, and that's why it goes so far, and that's why it's gone down, as I said, down into Kenosha County now.
Any idea how many truckloads or gallons of water have been used to this point?
I don't have a total gallons right now. We believe that we're just at about 30 tankers that are operating, and then we have a little over 100 personnel.
Do you know how many people were inside?
I'm sorry?
How many people were inside at the time?
Sheriff, I believe you said before that it was 24. They've all been accounted for. And the owner has confirmed that multiple times. Those people have since gone home if they're able, and have removed themselves from the scene.
And those 24, where do they work?
When firefighters can't get inside.
I'm sorry?
What did the evacuation look like? Since firefighters couldn't get inside to help people out.
People were very anxious to exit the building on their own. So the fire and law enforcement found that everyone had exited as they were arriving, or were almost completing the process of the same.
Is there any expected impact on the local water supply in terms of residents near the area having issues with the water in their homes as a result of all the water used here?
As far as the people in Eagle and people who have water that is not from a well, if you're on a well, this won't affect you at all. If you receive municipal water in the village or town of Eagle, you're going to notice that you may have a little bit of a tinge to the water. That is just because it's filling so quickly back into the water tower. We have no information right now that there's any issues regarding the quality of the water, but that's something we're also looking at so that we can make sure the community knows.
And you had 30?
The fire is still ignited, so it will be out by the time we leave. The issue right now is just the fact that we can't get to it because of the metal that's on top of it from the roof.
So how many water trucks did you have? 30, you said, or 10?
We have about 30. This would be one of the Kenosha County assets that was called. So after the 5 alarms of mutual aid were exhausted, then they went into that area, and that's where you see multiple tankers coming for that, and that's who's arriving right now.
And Assistant Chief and Sheriff, where were those 24 people? Where were they assigned normally? Would they have been in one section of that building that's now no longer having any integrity?
I don't have that information. The business owner may be able to share that, or may have an interest in sharing that, but I don't have that information.
So, and again, once the incident occurred, they were had quickly removed themselves outside, and including the people who had become injured were also outside on firefighter arrival.
Can you just talk a little bit about, how hard it was for firefighters to really get to the bottom of, what started this fire and put it out?
This has been a exterior fire the entire time, which is what we classify as defensive. When you see firefighters go inside with hose lines, that's called offensive. It's the determinant back and forth. That it was understood that everyone had exited when they arrived. The owner did a fantastic job with his management team to assure that they understood everyone had gotten out, and he placed the importance on his employees far before that of the business. So the initial resources that were committed to this, as far as fire and law enforcement, were tasked with making sure that they were addressing the injuries that had occurred while they were simultaneously starting the firefight, and that's what Kettle Moraine Fire District did. They were very successful on getting water on the fire almost immediately on their arrival. It's just that fire had spread throughout the building so significantly that they realized that they needed more assistance relatively quickly because of this being an area where you have to bring water in.
Where are the injured firefighters right now?
One is in a local hospital. 2 others are still on scene. It's all been heat exhaustion, and the other 2, after being treated, were able to go back to work.
3 firefighters, 6 civilians, is that right?
3 firefighters, 3 civilians, 6 total. Correct. Any other questions? As of right now, no. But we're doing our best to get more information on that. We'll update you at 1:30 if we have anything further on it.
We had heard there was a broken leg. Is that a serious injury?
That would be something that I wouldn't be able to comment on just because of the medical treatment that was provided to that person.
In the timeline, one more time, the fire and the explosion. Can you lay out that timeline one more time?
Our understanding is that from the fire and the explosion that started this initial call were essentially simultaneous. So whatever occurred and when it was reported, we did receive multiple calls on this. So there were individuals who were perceiving the incident in various ways, but we know that there was a substantial amount of fire as well as explosions that were occurring at the time that those 911 calls were being made. Again, we can't.
All right, you can see there the officials giving us the latest on the explosion and fire happening in Eagle, Wisconsin right now. I want to just go over really quickly what we've learned since we started taking that news conference live. We know that three civilians now are injured because of this fire, 3 firefighters as well. There were multiple explosions, diesel and liquid petroleum still burning at this hour. They said it was going to take about another 8 hours to get everything under control. The cause of the investigation the cause of the explosion and fire is still under investigation. That is something that we're going to continue monitoring. Students in that area are safe that we know of right now.